Hi guys, so in this video I thought I'll talk about my health routine. Health is something I've invested a lot time, effort and money over the last couple of years, and I did notice a massive difference in my life when I did so. I'll share my story and my learnings and my journey here when it comes to health, and I hope that will be of use to you. So I'll broadly divide this video into 4 sections. Number 1 is what you eat, what you put inside your body. Number 2 is how you make your body move, so exercise, workouts and all that. Number 3 is how you track your health, learned a lot around that. And then finally, it's just some more generic things I've learned. So first of all, before we go into all that, like why do this, right? Like why do I care so much about health? For the large part of my 20s, I just didn't care anything about health because it was just not a concern at all, right? Like I used to eat takeaways all the time. I did exercise here and there, so that counts. But generally, I was just very unhealthy. And a big part of why I moved into tracking my health and watching over my health is because I seen my dad do it like 4 or 5 years back. And I did see the positive changes in his life, right? It really does matter. If you take care of your health and live a holistically healthy life, in the near term, your energy level changes. Like you get lots and lots more energy, which is important in like everything you do, right? In my case, there are side projects and side businesses that I've been trying to build, and that requires a lot of effort and energy. Health gives you that energy in the near term. And in the long run, in the long run, decades from now, you save yourself a lot of trouble. I don't want to grow 60 and then just be in a wheelchair all my life, right? If I invest time into my health in my 30s and 20s, there's a larger chance that by the time I'm old, I'll be healthy enough to enjoy and contribute and live a meaningful life. I've been only doing this for the last 3 years or so, but I can tell you honestly, it's making a ton of difference. So that's the why and the general side of things. Now I'll share my journey and what I do personally. So 3 things: what I put into my body, how I move my body, and how I track my health. So hope some of this would be of use to you, and let's get started. So first thing, I'll show you what I eat. And to do that, the best thing is to show your fridge, right? Like what's in your fridge. So today is a Sunday. It's usually when I do my groceries. I just have a full fridge and I thought it'll be a good time to show you what's in it. And this is really what I eat. And it's not something I've put in my fridge today so that I can make a good video. It's genuinely what I consistently eat. Let's go to my fridge and I'll show you what's in it. So you can see the fridge is kind of like divided into neat sections, right? So bottom bits is fruits, middle meat, and then the one above that is vegetables. The one above that is some general odd bits, right? So let's keep things simple, right? Eat your fruits, your meat, and your vegetables, and some odd things. So for the fruits, I like a lot of oranges. Oranges are just tasty. You can see I got loads of them. Then apples, some raspberries to put in my morning shake. And then here I've got a few carbs, right? Like some mashed potatoes, which I'd like to eat or snack on sometimes. So that's the fruits bit. I don't think red meat in general is good, but I do eat lean cuts of red meat. So this is a lean cut of red meat. So if you look at the nutrition label, you can see it's very low in saturated fat, just 1.6 grams per 100 grams. And that's another thing really. I think it's a good idea to get an intuition over these nutritional values, what these mean, saturated fats, carbs, fiber, etc. And that way, when you go grocery shopping, you can get a feel for the kind of things you put in your body. I don't want to get too complicated, but having some knowledge of the basics helps here. So again, red meat, like this beef, I like to keep it lean. I don't like to eat the normal cuts because they have lots of saturated fat in it, which is bad for your cholesterol. So lean cuts of red meat is one of the regular things I eat. And then obviously there's salmon. So this is just normal salmon fillets. I also like to have that twice a week. So 2 days of the week would be salmon, the rest would be beef. And then there's also the good old chicken breast, this is just normal diced chicken breast. You can make some food out of that. So that's the protein bit. Again, the primary thing here is to make sure whatever you eat is just not too high in saturated fats. You want lean cuts of meat. Then there's the vegetable. I don't really know the science behind a lot of these, but I just like to fill the section with greens that I like to eat. Again, you can choose your own varieties. You got tomatoes, asparagus, beans, and sprouts and all. And then finally, above that, it's just snack stuff. So chicken slices, cucumbers, and pita breads. And here I got almond milk. So every morning I have a shake with almond milk, some whole grain oats, and some whey protein. Speaking of whey protein, you can see whey protein here. Outside my fridge, I like to have a scoop every morning because I do work out in the gym and lift weights. So you need some good sources of protein. And this is the only kind of oil you'll find in my kitchen, which is olive oil, so extra virgin olive oil. So that's what I put in my body essentially. All this would last a week, and every week I would just repeat the same thing over and over again. Great, so that's all the things I put in my body and how my kitchen looks like. So the next thing I'll talk over is how I move, like the exercises and my workout routine. Because eating is important, nutrition is very important, but so is moving, right? So I recently moved into a new place. One thing that I really wanted to make sure is that it's very health friendly, in the sense that it's very easy to take care of my health wherever you're living from. So in my case, the place where I live, there's a lake around, so you can go for walks around the lake early in the morning. Again, very good for your health, moving, getting nature, it's really, really good, makes a ton of difference. And also, I wanted to make sure I live close to a really good gym. So I've got both the lake and I've got a really good gym with all the machines, the spa, a steam room, and all that stuff. So everything you need to take care of your health. And the reason why I emphasize that is you want to make it really easy to take care of your health, right? If you have to travel like 45 minutes to get to a gym or 45 minutes to get to a park or wherever you can walk, it's unlikely you're going to do it. There's just a lot of friction. But if it's very easy, for me, it's just like 5-minute walk to the gym and the lake around me. So just walk around, things like that. If it's very easy to do and it's very enjoyable, you tend to do it more. So that's the first thing really. When it comes to movement, if you can, and if you have the choice to, it's always good to make it easy as possible for you to take care of your health. So in my case, at least, that's one reason why I chose the place where I live. But coming back to the point now, how I move, I go to the gym roughly 4 times a week. I like to both lift weights and do cardio. And steam and sauna are a regular part of my routine. It does help a lot. So for lifting weights, it's the usual. I'm not looking to bulk up or be bodybuilder or anything, but just enough to give you lean strength and build lean muscle mass. So I do all kinds of compound lifts. So, bench press, deadlifts, anything with a barbell or a dumbbell. I prefer free weights because that exercises more parts of your body. And then also some machine weights separated out by upper and lower body splits. In a week, I would do 1 day push exercises, 1 day pull exercises, and 1 day leg. Again, I just mix and match, and there's no hard, fast rules here. As long as you put in those days consistently, I don't think it really matters what exercises you do. But primarily, lifting builds strength and muscle mass. And then I do cardio also. So for me, cardio, sometimes it's swimming. Most of the times it's just running on the treadmill. And I know you can run around the lake or in nature or in parks and stuff, but I just prefer running on a treadmill because it's also a way for me to just zone out and get into my own thought space. And if there's no surroundings you need to worry about, it's just a treadmill, you're just running and looking outside with a nice view. I think that's always better. So I like running, but obviously whatever cardio you do works. So yeah, so movement wise, again, keeping it simple, right? Like lifting, cardio, consistently 4 days a week. And I have to be honest, there are weeks that I miss or days that I miss, but overall I do quite a lot. So yeah, that's the moving bit. And also it's good if your gym has a sauna or a steam room. It does make tons and tons of difference, trust me. I used to go to one without. What I noticed is just having a sauna and steam room itself, it makes you want to go to the gym regularly, because what you do is you have the first 30 minutes you do a heavy workout, like lift weights, build strength, and the next 30 minutes you would do cardio, like running or swimming. And by that time your heart's pumped and blood's flowing, endorphins filled up, and then you just finish all that with like 30 minutes in the sauna and steam room, right? So you do 15 minutes sauna, then steam room, and then just relax. It's a completely stress busting routine, right? For me personally, this is wonders, right? It makes it so much fun and so much relaxing. It really makes you want to go again and again. So yeah, that's it. I think I've covered most of it. Again, I don't want to go into details on what exercises or what exactly I do, because I don't think it benefits anyone, because it doesn't matter what you do as long as you do it consistently. So yeah, that's that. So far, we talked about what you put in your body and how you move your body. So nutrition and exercise. Now, finally, I also think it's important to track your health, right? I mean, most of the time, tracking is really something you only do when you got a problem, right? Like when you have some kind of symptoms, you go to your doctor, they do a blood test, and then you figure out what the problem is, and then you go and try to fix it. Sometimes it will take years to fix, sometimes it will get fixed quickly. This is what you call the reactionary way of taking care of your health, right? But I prefer taking a more proactive approach to health, where you want to prevent health problems by tracking things early on. So at the minimum, what I do is every year I do this complete health test, right? So the complete health test would cover everything. The one I do has over like 250 different test markers that they test for. So literally everything you can think of. So your heart health, cholesterol levels, your thyroid health, your hormone health, your nutritional health, your vitamin levels and all that. Whatever it is, as long as you get a full body cover once a year, just to get a rough idea of where things are wrong, if any, or if things are okay, that really helps in my opinion. So I do this full body test once a year, and if I find some problems, something slightly off somewhere here and there, I would then go and focus on that. So for example, a couple of years back, when I started this Intel's health routine, when I did follow it, I noticed there was a 40% reduction in my cholesterol levels, and it went back to normal. And sometimes it would just like slightly up above normal. So in this case, this year's one is slightly up above normal. So what I did was like essentially I bought another cholesterol kit. So this is a home testing kit for just cholesterol. And what I'm going to do is the next 3 months, I'm going to do an intense watch over your diet phase again, because last few months I did slightly deviate. So I'm going to watch over my diet very carefully the next coming months. What I'll do is at the end, I'll do that test again, the cholesterol test, and that way I can know before and after how much it has reduced or if it has not. So just in general, by doing this, right, like once a year do a blood test. If you find something slightly off, you focus on that, measure before, after, you try various things, just taking a very experimental approach to things. So I like to do that because I'm a numbers person. It's just all about measuring, but it is true. You can't really know anything without measuring, right? So I like to measure things. That was the third bit, tracking your health. Again, the big point here is I find it useful to not just track your health or measure your health when things go wrong, but to do so at least once a year regularly, just so that you can keep on top of things. And again, it might seem a bit OCD, but I think in the long run, in the long horizon, this all pays off, right? Because if you're healthy for decades and decades before you hit your 50s or 60s, it really might help a lot. Because you don't want to grow old and be immobile, right? So you want to grow old and healthy. So all this tracking, what you put inside your body, exercising, helps the long-term you. Like the you decades later, you want to be healthy. So there's a higher chance you become healthy if you watch over your health now. And this is not just for the long term, it's also for the near term. Trust me when I say in the near term, it gives you so much more energy. Like I've got a day job, I've got a side business that I'm building, I've got lots of dreams and hopes and things I really pursue. And all that requires a lot of energy. And I've noticed when I take care of my health and I'm on top of my health routine, that's where I have a lot more energy to do all these things. And this brings me to a point also. I find it's better to focus on just the basics for a long enough time. Your nutrition, your exercises, and your measurements. These three things are what I find the basics. But also at the same time, I think it's also good to constantly gain some knowledge on how to take care of your health, right? One of the really good books that I've read or I'm reading is this book called Outlive. And I think it's by Dr. Piera. I don't think you can see it, but it really goes over the basics and it's very like layman friendly. So I highly recommend this book if you just want to get a general idea of how to take care of your health and why it matters and all that. So yeah, constantly educating yourself is also important. But overall, I just think it's a really good investment to make in yourself. Health is really important, and I'm realizing that more and more, and it's enjoyable as well because it gives you so much energy and stuff. I want to end this video by saying, yeah, you don't want to go OCD on this, which I have a tendency to do, but at the same time, in a balanced life, health is something to watch over, and it will pay both long-term and short-term dividends. And at the end of the day, I mean, you can't predict anything, right? Like anything could happen. Even if you're the healthiest human being, you could be dead by the age of 40. You never know. Nothing's guaranteed. But at the same time, that does not mean that you do the best with what you've got. So you've been given a life, and it's better to take care of it and live it to the fullest. And over your health, and having a regular health routine is part of that. So that's really my thoughts, my experiences, and what I've learned so far, at least. There's plenty more to learn. And I thought I'll just make a video on this. It's just not something I usually do. but it's a big part of my life. I thought it's worth making, hoping that someone would get some value out of it. So that's it. I'll see you soon. Bye.